Nostradamus, the mysterious 16th century seer, has shocked the world for centuries with his eerily accurate predictions. From foretelling the rise of Napoleon to the horrors of World War II, his cryptic quatrains have left scholars and skeptics alike in awe. But what if his most chilling prophecies were meant for 2025? His warnings aren't just about distant disasters. They speak of events that could transform life as we know it. AI revolts, mental health pandemics, extraterrestrial discoveries, and economic collapse are just a few of the startling scenarios his visions seem to predict. These aren't abstract possibilities. They're creeping closer with every passing day. What Nostradamus foresaw for 2025 won't just shock you, it could affect us all, especially his final 10 predictions, which promise to radically change the world and likely impact your own life. His words point to a future filled with upheaval, breakthroughs, and challenges that will redefine everything we know. Brace yourself as we unveil 10 of Nostradamus's most terrifying predictions for 2025. By the end, you may not look at the future or the present the same way again. Prediction 1. Rise of a global youth movement. Nostradamus's cryptic writings speak of the young rising as a storm, breaking barriers of the old order. By 2025, this prophecy could become reality as a coordinated global youth movement emerges, fueled by frustration over the inaction of older generations on critical issues like climate change, economic inequality, and corruption. This movement will be unlike anything the world has seen before. Young activists, empowered by technology, will harness the reach of social media, live streaming protests, and organizing global campaigns with unprecedented efficiency. Platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram will become the battlegrounds where demands for change are amplified and millions are mobilized across continents. What began as isolated demonstrations, such as Greta Thunberg's Fridays for Future, will evolve into a synchronized effort to challenge and dismantle outdated systems. Their goals will extend beyond surface-level reforms. Nostradamus's mention of shifting powers aligns with the youth's growing demand for radical systemic change. They will push for comprehensive policies addressing renewable energy, wealth redistribution, and corporate accountability. Governments and corporations will be forced to respond as the movement leverages both economic pressure through boycotts and political power through mass voter mobilization. However, the movement will face significant resistance. Nostradamus's warnings of conflicts between generations foreshadow the inevitable clashes between youth-led reformers and entrenched traditional powers. Governments may attempt to suppress these uprisings through legislation, propaganda, or even violent crackdowns, fearing the growing influence of these young voices. Despite these obstacles, the youth movement will reshape the global landscape. Nostradamus's new world forged by youthful hands suggests that their persistence will bring lasting change. Whether through innovations in green technology, the restructuring of economic systems, or the rise of younger political leaders, their impact will be transformative. Prediction 2. A breakthrough in brain-machine interfaces. Nostradamus's warnings of the merging of mind and machine might predict a technological leap that reshapes human interaction with the world. By 2025, brain-machine interface (BMI) technology could reach a breakthrough, making it possible for people to control devices with their thoughts. This advancement promises profound possibilities, but also sparks ethical and societal debates. BMIs already exist in early forms, helping individuals with disabilities control prosthetics or communicate. However, a significant breakthrough could make this technology widely available, allowing the average person to interact with computers, phones, or even vehicles using nothing but their mind. Imagine being able to send a text, browse the internet, or operate machinery simply by thinking. While this innovation could revolutionize industries and improve lives, it comes with serious implications. Nostradamus's warning of unseen forces controlling mankind aligns with fears about the misuse of this technology. Governments or corporations might exploit BMIs for surveillance, tracking people's thoughts and actions without their consent. Hackers could infiltrate these systems, raising concerns about the security of such intimate data. Ethical questions would arise as well. Who owns the data from a person's brain? How do we regulate technology that blurs the line between human and machine? Nostradamus's words about laws undone by the unnatural suggest that existing legal frameworks may struggle to keep pace with the challenges posed by BMIs. Despite these risks, the potential benefits are staggering. For individuals with mobility impairments or neurological conditions, BMIs could restore independence and improve quality of life. For industries, they could boost productivity and efficiency in ways previously unimaginable. Nostradamus's mention of minds unbound could symbolize humanity reaching a new level of intellectual and creative freedom. Prediction 3. Widespread adoption of biodegradable technology. Nostradamus's prophecy of a new material rising to cleanse the earth may foretell a radical shift in the way humanity manufactures and consumes. By 2025, the growing urgency to combat environmental destruction could lead to a widespread adoption of biodegradable technology, replacing traditional plastics and metals with sustainable alternatives. The movement toward biodegradable materials is already gaining momentum, with innovations in plant-based plastics, recyclable electronics, and compostable packaging. By 2025, major corporations could fully embrace these technologies, abandoning harmful materials that take centuries to degrade. This shift would revolutionize industries, from consumer electronics to food production, as companies rush to meet new environmental standards and consumer demands for eco-friendly products. However, this transformation won't come without challenges. Supply chains will face massive disruptions as industries pivot to incorporate new materials. Factories will require retooling, new partnerships with suppliers will be necessary, and costs may initially rise, making products more expensive for consumers. Nostradamus's vision of markets struggling to adapt to nature's will aligns with the turbulence this shift might bring to global economies. The impact on waste management and pollution would be profound. Biodegradable technology could dramatically reduce the amount of waste clogging landfills and polluting oceans, potentially reversing decades of environmental damage. Governments and environmental organizations would likely enforce stricter policies to accelerate this adoption, marking a critical turning point in humanity's fight against climate change. But Nostradamus's words of solutions bringing new dilemmas warn of the unintended consequences. Could the production of biodegradable materials require more water, land, or energy than traditional plastics? Could developing nations, lacking the infrastructure to produce these materials, fall further behind in global trade? If you think this will reshape industries and save the planet, the next prophecy could change how humanity survives altogether. Prediction 4. A global heatwave crisis. Nostradamus's foreboding words of the sun growing angry and scorching the earth may point directly to a global heatwave crisis that disrupts life on a massive scale. By 2025, an unprecedented and prolonged heatwave could simultaneously impact multiple continents, pushing humanity to the brink. Such an event would cause mass casualties as heat stroke and dehydration overwhelm healthcare systems. Crop failures across affected regions would trigger food shortages, sending prices soaring and deepening the divide between wealthy and struggling nations. Nostradamus's vision of fields withering under a fiery sky mirrors this grim possibility, where vast agricultural losses create widespread hunger and economic instability. Energy systems would be stretched to their limits as governments and individuals attempt to combat the extreme heat. Power grids in vulnerable areas could collapse under the strain of air conditioning and refrigeration demands, leaving millions without relief during the most dangerous temperatures. Countries already suffering from energy shortages would face life-threatening challenges. Geoengineering, once dismissed as science fiction, could suddenly become a necessity. Discussions about artificially cooling the planet through technologies like solar radiation management or carbon capture would intensify. Nostradamus's mention of man playing God to battle the heavens could symbolize the moral and scientific dilemmas humanity would face as it attempts to control the climate. The heat wave would also force millions to migrate. Regions rendered uninhabitable by the relentless heat would see mass movements of people to cooler areas, creating political tensions and humanitarian crises. Nostradamus's warnings of cities overrun and borders crumbling could reflect the chaos caused by this global shift. As the Earth's temperature rises, so does the urgency for action. Will humanity find a way to adapt and survive, or will this crisis mark the beginning of even greater catastrophes? And if you thought this was humanity's biggest challenge, the next prediction might change your perspective entirely. Prediction 5. Discovery of an ancient civilization. Nostradamus spoke of secrets long buried beneath ice, uncovered to reveal the ancient truth. This cryptic warning could point to a groundbreaking discovery in Antarctica by 2025, evidence of an advanced ancient civilization hidden beneath the melting ice. As global temperatures rise, Antarctica's ice sheets continue to retreat, exposing areas that have been frozen for thousands or even millions of years. Archaeologists and scientists have already uncovered tantalizing clues of ancient life, from fossilized forests to mysterious underground structures detected by radar. A full-fledged discovery of an advanced civilization would rewrite human history, suggesting that our technological journey began far earlier than previously believed. Such a finding would upend everything we thought we knew about human development. Could this ancient civilization have achieved levels of technology comparable to modern societies? If so, what caused their downfall? Nostradamus's warnings of a lesson forgotten, a cycle repeated, may serve as a reminder of the fragility of human progress. The implications for science and religion would be profound. The discovery of advanced artifacts or knowledge could challenge traditional timelines of human evolution and disrupt existing belief systems. Governments and institutions would likely scramble to control access to these sites, fearing the geopolitical implications of such a discovery. Nostradamus's words about the race to claim what is uncovered may predict a scramble for ownership of the secrets hidden beneath the ice. For the average person, this discovery would spark awe and curiosity, but it could also raise existential questions. What happened to this ancient society? Could their fate foreshadow humanity's own future? And if you think rewriting history is earth-shattering, the next prophecy reveals how the future could unravel entirely. Prediction 6. Breakdown of international alliances. Nostradamus warned of a time when the bonds between nations are broken and the world stands divided. By 2025, this vision could become reality as major global alliances like NATO, the UN, or the European Union face unprecedented fractures. The pressures driving this breakdown are already mounting. Economic instability, climate migration, and rising populist movements have led many nations to turn inward, prioritizing domestic concerns over international cooperation. Nostradamus's warning of leaders retreating behind their walls aligns with this growing trend, where alliances that once maintained global order begin to crumble. As these organizations weaken, the consequences will ripple across the world. The absence of coordinated efforts to address global crises such as pandemics, climate change, and geopolitical conflicts will leave nations to fend for themselves. Nostradamus's wars erupting in shadowed corners could symbolize the rise of regional conflicts as smaller nations take advantage of the power vacuum. The breakdown of international alliances could also destabilize trade networks and disrupt the global economy. Countries that once relied on cooperative agreements may find themselves locked in bitter disputes over resources, borders, and influence. Nostradamus's mention of markets in chaos fits this potential reality, where a lack of unity exacerbates economic divides. The loss of trust between nations would have profound social and political effects. Nostradamus's warning of mistrust spreading like wildfire could reflect the rise of isolationism, xenophobia, and nationalism as nations retreat from the global stage. The dream of a united world might be replaced by a fractured and unstable reality. And as the ties that bind nations unravel, one question remains: will humanity find a way to reconnect, or will division become our new normal? Prediction 7. Mass migration to virtual worlds. Nostradamus's cryptic words about a world within a world where reality fades may foretell a future dominated by immersive virtual reality, VR. By 2025, advancements in VR and augmented reality, AR, could lead millions to abandon traditional physical life for digital environments, creating a parallel society where physical presence becomes secondary. The rise of virtual reality has already begun to reshape how we work, learn, and play. By 2025, VR could offer fully immersive experiences so realistic that people choose to spend most of their time in these digital realms. Virtual environments would provide opportunities for education, work, and social interaction, allowing users to design their surroundings and personas as they see fit. Entire communities could form within these worlds, creating a sense of belonging and escapism that the physical world may lack. However, this migration to virtual spaces could have profound social consequences. Nostradamus's warnings of bonds severed and homes abandoned could symbolize the isolation that comes from living primarily in virtual environments. Relationships, communities, and traditional family structures might weaken as people prioritize their digital lives over their real ones. The economic impact would also be significant. As more people transition to virtual workspaces, industries tied to physical presence, such as real estate, transportation, and retail, could face declines. At the same time, virtual goods and services would become a booming market, sparking debates about the value of digital assets versus tangible resources. Ethical questions about addiction and escapism would loom large. Could humanity's retreat into VR signal an unwillingness to confront real-world problems such as climate change and inequality? Nostradamus's world within a mirror lost to time may serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of trading reality for a digital dream. And if you think virtual worlds will redefine society, the next prophecy could reshape what we eat and how we survive. Prediction 8. An artificial food revolution. Nostradamus's prophecy of fields that no longer need the soil may foretell the rise of lab-grown food as a dominant force in agriculture. By 2025, lab-grown meats, dairy, and other artificial food products could become mainstream, drastically reducing humanity's reliance on traditional farming. Advancements in cellular agriculture are already producing lab-grown steaks, chicken, and even seafood that mimic the taste and texture of their naturally sourced counterparts. As these technologies scale, they offer a solution to many of the world's most pressing problems. Lab-grown food requires significantly less land, water, and energy than traditional farming, making it a powerful tool in the fight against climate change and deforestation. The adoption of artificial food could also address global hunger. Nostradamus's mention of abundance from the unnatural fits the potential of lab-grown food to provide affordable, nutritious options for populations in food-insecure regions. With the ability to produce protein-rich foods in controlled environments, humanity could create a more equitable and sustainable food supply. However, the shift would come with its own set of challenges. Traditional farmers and ranchers would face economic devastation as demand for natural meat and dairy declines. Nostradamus's warnings of old ways lost to progress could reflect the cultural and economic upheaval this revolution might bring to rural communities. Ethical debates about the manipulation of natural processes would also intensify. Is lab-grown food truly sustainable, or does it carry hidden environmental costs? And will consumers fully accept artificial products as a replacement for the real thing? Nostradamus's words about the conflict between what is made and what is grown seem to echo these looming dilemmas. The artificial food revolution offers a glimpse of a more sustainable future, but it also raises questions about identity, tradition, and the value of nature itself. And as humanity transforms what we eat, will we lose sight of where we came from? Prediction 9. A global ban on fossil fuels. Nostradamus's prophecy of fire extinguished by decree, leaving the old ways in ashes, could foretell a dramatic global shift in energy policy. By 2025, worsening climate conditions may force several nations to impose strict bans on fossil fuel usage, triggering an urgent and massive transition to renewable energy sources. The evidence for such a ban is mounting. As climate disasters grow more severe, rising sea levels, extreme heat waves, and devastating storms, governments worldwide will face increasing pressure to take decisive action. Some nations have already committed to phasing out coal, oil, and gas, but 2025 could be the year when the world unites to implement a global ban on fossil fuels, transforming industries overnight. While this transition promises a greener future, it won't come without challenges. Nostradamus's warning of upheaval as the new replaces the old could symbolize the economic and social turbulence caused by such a rapid shift. Industries reliant on fossil fuels, including transportation, manufacturing, and agriculture, would be forced to adapt or collapse. Millions of jobs in oil and gas sectors could disappear, leading to short-term unemployment spikes and political unrest in regions dependent on these industries. On the flip side, the ban would drive unprecedented innovation. Governments and companies would pour resources into developing renewable energy technologies, such as advanced solar panels, wind turbines, and hydrogen fuel cells. Nostradamus's phrase, "power from the sky and seas rising to meet demand," aligns with the promise of renewable energy to replace fossil fuels. However, the transition could deepen divides between wealthy and poorer nations. Developed countries with advanced infrastructure may adapt quickly, while developing nations lacking resources for renewable energy could struggle, creating new global inequalities. If humanity can navigate the chaos of this transition, a cleaner, more sustainable world may emerge. But will the urgency of climate change unite nations or drive them further apart? And if you think this transformation will reshape the world, the next prediction reveals how a single city's collapse could change everything. Prediction. 10. The collapse of a megacity. Nostradamus's haunting words of a city sinking beneath waves, its people scattered, may foretell the collapse of a major megacity. By 2025, cities like Jakarta, Mumbai, or even New York could face catastrophic events, rising sea levels, infrastructure failure, or political instability that force millions to flee, creating one of the largest migrations in human history. For years, experts have warned about the vulnerabilities of megacities. Jakarta, for example, is sinking at an alarming rate due to groundwater extraction, while rising sea levels threaten to submerge entire neighborhoods. Mumbai faces monsoon flooding that worsens with each passing year, compounded by overcrowded infrastructure. Nostradamus's vision of a city unable to stand against time and tide feels disturbingly close to reality. The collapse of a megacity wouldn't just displace millions, it would create a ripple effect of humanitarian crises. Neighboring regions, unprepared to handle such an influx of migrants, would be overwhelmed, straining resources like food, water, and shelter. Nostradamus's warning of boundaries erased by desperation reflects the political and social tensions that could arise as displaced populations seek refuge. Economically, the impact would be devastating. Megacities are often hubs of trade, finance, and innovation. Their collapse would disrupt global markets, leading to economic instability that affects countries far beyond the immediate disaster zone. Nostradamus's mention of wealth lost to waters and ashes could symbolize the destruction of assets and industries tied to these urban centers. Global aid systems would be put to the test as nations scramble to provide relief and relocate displaced populations. However, Nostradamus's words of nations turning their backs suggest that political self-interest may hinder cooperation, leaving millions to face unimaginable suffering. As the world watches one of its greatest cities crumble, humanity must ask, are we prepared for the fragility of our creations? Or will this be a wake-up call to build a more resilient future?